Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Secretary, welcome back to the committee. As you can tell, I'm in another committee. We're marking up a bill at the Commerce Committee today. But let me ask a question about this issue of inflation, which I'm sure has been talked about a good bit already today. But it's the highest, I think, as you know, in 13 years. Consumer prices are rising 5% last month, and according to the latest Consumer Price Index, the index for all items except food and energy rose 3.8%, which is the largest yearly increase in almost 30 years. The energy index rose 28.5% over the last year, and according to the survey by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, fears of inflation in the year ahead hit its highest level on record, with a consumer expectation up to 4%. Do you view this inflationary trend as transitory, or do you expect an extended period of raised inflation?
Well, I've previously said that I see important transitory influences at work, and I don't anticipate that it will be permanent, but we continue to monitor inflation data very carefully, and importantly, for the long run inflation outlook, we see inflation expectations by most measures. There are many different measures, and by most measures, see those expectations as being well anchored. And I think the consensus of forecasters is that this bout is temporary. Partly what we're seeing is that prices that just collapsed at the onset of the pandemic in the service sector, where demand collapsed. As the economy's opening back up again, prices are now moving back toward normal levels in leisure, hospitality, airfares, and the like. In most cases, prices remain below pre-pandemic levels, but they're rising, and that's some of what's going on here. But there are also bottlenecks, and clearly firms are having difficulty hiring workers. I believe our economy is on track to get back to a more normal operation, and that inflation will decline over time, but we're going to monitor this very, very carefully.
Do you still believe agree with the administration's projection of 2% for the year?
Well, the projections that we made were back in February, and what we said agreed with very closely with the blue chip at the time. We're going to be doing a mid-session review and coming out with a new forecast. And certainly for this year, inflation will be higher than that.
Let me switch gears here for a minute. The Biden administration has proposed having banks report to the IRS gross inflows and outflows of business and personal accounts, which would be a significant new intrusion into taxpayers' lives. Yet just last week, the IRS had one of the most widespread breaches in the agency's history in order to advance a political agenda. This apparent leak, a targeted attack, I should say, on a select few Americans undermines the confidence in the agency and goes to the heart of public trust between taxpayers and the IRS's ability to safeguard private information. Can you tell me how the Treasury and the IRS hold individuals accountable who broke federal law by sharing confidential tax information and tax returns? And will you commit to updating me on what steps the administration is taking to ensure this doesn't happen again? And can you maybe tell us what steps you've taken so far?
Yes, this was a very serious situation, and I in the Treasury Department take very seriously the protection of government data. We've referred this matter to the Treasury Inspector General and to the Department of Justice. The IRS Commissioner is looking into the matter, as is the Treasury's Inspector General for Tax Administration. But we're only 1 week out on this, and I really want to emphasize we do not know what happened. We don't have any facts at this point. I promise to keep you updated on what we find, but it is absolutely top priority to safeguard taxpayer data. when we see the results of the investigations that are done, if there are actions that we need to take to shore up the protection of this information, you have my absolute word that we will do so, and we will keep you in Congress informed on what we're doing and what we're finding on this.
Mr. Chairman, my time's expired, but I will submit a question for the record dealing with the issue of step up in basis, the tax proposal as it pertains to family-owned businesses, farms, and ranches. I'm very interested in what the administration's proposals are to exempt or protect, I should say, those types of entities from what would be an incredibly crushing and onerous tax.
Thank you.